If you've been scrolling through endless listings, watching video after video, and still feel stuck between I need a wine fridge and maybe I don't really need one, this review is here to clear the fog. You're not alone. Most people who finally sit down to buy a built-in cooler end up worrying about whether the unit will actually fit the space, keep the bottles at the right temperature, and not turn the kitchen into a noisy hallway. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In the next few minutes I'm going to walk through what it actually feels like to live with the KoolMore Reserve 15-inch under-counter model, who will get the most bang for their buck, and exactly where the compromises hide. Let's start with the biggest question most buyers have: do I really need a dual-zone cooler? If you're the kind of host who keeps a handful of reds at 55°F and a separate stash of whites or sparkling at 45°F, the dual-zone is a real time saver. You won't have to shuffle bottles around every time the temperature shifts, which is a pain you only notice after a few parties. On the other hand, if you usually drink one style of wine or you only have a small collection, the second zone might feel like paying for a feature you'll never use. The KoolMore Reserve's dual-zone system is built into a single compact chassis, so you get both temperature ranges without needing two separate appliances. Next up, the panel-ready design. This is where the under-counter promise becomes practical, not just a marketing line. Because the unit is meant to be hidden behind a cabinet face, you can match it to the rest of your kitchen or bar. I spent a couple of evenings measuring the space behind my pantry wall, and the 15-inch width slipped in perfectly once I trimmed the adjoining trim board by a ½ inch. The only hidden trade-off is that you do need a bit of DIY confidence or a handyman to cut the opening and attach the front panel. If you're renting or you're not comfortable with a small amount of carpentry, you might be better off with a freestanding cooler that just sits on the floor. Now, let's talk about what really matters when you open the door: the shelves. Most built-in wine chillers use wire racks that can dent bottles or make it hard to see labels. The KoolMore Reserve comes with high-grade wooden shelves that feel solid yet gentle on the glass. In practice, the wood also helps keep the interior temperature stable because there's less metal surface to radiate heat. I tested it by loading a full 23 bottle capacity with a mix of heavy Bordeaux bottles and lighter Pinot Noirs. The shelves held everything without sagging, and the bottles stayed upright, which is crucial for preserving cork integrity over time. The downside is that wooden shelves can be a bit heavier to remove if you need to clean the interior, so you'll want to plan a quick wipe down rather than pulling each shelf out. Silent mode is another feature that sounds nice on paper but becomes a daily reality. Many built-in coolers have compressors that hum loudly enough to be heard when you're making a cocktail at the bar. The KoolMore's silent mode drops the noise to a barely perceptible whir, which I noticed especially during a late-night dinner party when the only other sound was the clink of glasses. It's not completely silent, there's still a low-grade hum, but it's low enough that you won't get annoyed after a few hours. If you're setting the cooler in an open-concept living area, that reduction in noise is a genuine comfort. The trade-off is that silent mode can take a minute longer to reach the set temperature after you open the door, so you might notice a slight dip when you first retrieve a bottle, but it recovers quickly. Value for money is where the KoolMore Reserve really shines, especially when you compare it to other built-in options that charge a premium for brand name alone. The 23 bottle capacity puts it in the sweet spot for small to medium collectors. You can store a decent variety without crowding, and the dual zone means you can keep your whites chilled and your reds at cellar temperature in the same unit. The ETL listing gives a baseline of safety compliance, which is reassuring if you're installing it near a countertop with other appliances. On the flip side, the price point is still higher than a basic freestanding unit, so if you're on a tight budget and you don't need the hidden look, you might be paying extra for aesthetics. Who should definitely consider this cooler? If you have a dedicated wine nook, a home bar, or a kitchen island where a sleek, integrated look matters, this is the piece that will blend in without screaming appliance. It's also a fit for anyone who entertains regularly and wants quick access to both reds and whites at their ideal temps. Couples who share a wine hobby, small collectors who are starting to expand, or even a single homeowner who wants a wow factor.